Hey guys, it's Game Freezer and welcome back to episode 15 of my Leeds United career mode. Now, for those of you who watched the in real life football last night from Leeds, what the hell was that? Was it 18 seconds or 17 seconds that Leeds conceded in? Yeah, didn't go too well, did it, to be honest, against Blackburn. Yeah, not the best of matches, and then 2-0 down after 6 minutes. I'm blaming that all on the players. I don't think Steve Evans really, it's not down to him at all. I think the players were pretty bad last night. I don't know what you think about that yourselves. Let me know in the comments anyway. Also, if you could go hit the thumbs up button and also subscribe as well, it'd be really appreciated. Let's move on to this career mode though, rather than what's happening in real life, which is a complete mess to be honest, isn't it, at the moment. Let's get on with the transfer window. I'm going to hopefully try and sign a new keeper, because obviously I've sold Silvestri in the previous episode, if you didn't see it. So I've looked at your suggestions in the comments, and I think the suggestion I liked the most, in terms of keepers, was Ruben Blanco, and I think he looks like a really decent young keeper. I probably won't have time to scout him fully, so I'm just going to inquire out and see how much they're after, and hopefully we can come to some sort of agreement. Basically, this guy here, if I can get him in, that would be really good, because he's 75 overall, so he's a decent keeper, and he might be good enough, if we go back into the Premier League, he might be a good enough goalkeeper to have in the squad. So really looking forward to potentially seeing how he turns out. Also, I'm looking at another centre-back as well. Cooper's currently out injured, which means that Belushi will have to come into the side, and I want to try and get rid of Belushi, to be honest. He's transfer listed. So I'm looking at centre-backs who also suggested some in the comments as well. The likes of Liam Moore from Leicester City. He's currently on loan at Bristol City, though, in real life, but on this he isn't, so he is available to potentially get. I could also get Joe Gomez in if I really wanted to. Does he play centre-back? Yes, he does. He might be an interesting loan player to get in on a 2-year loan potentially, but he can play left-back, right-back, centre-back. He could be a potential option for us. There was also a suggestion. He's not actually on here, actually. I don't think so, anyway. No, I'll quickly show you who I was on about anyway. There was a suggestion. I think it was for this guy. I'm assuming by the comment. It was Edgar. Is it Lil or something like that? I'm not really too sure how you pronounce his surname, to be honest. I'll call him Edgar for now. Ex-Barcelona player. And he looks like a really talented youngster. Again, I'm going to inquire about him. 6 months left on his contract, so could be able to get him fairly cheap. I think he's about 68 to 70 overall, that sort of range currently, but I'm sure he can go up loads, to be honest. He's 21 years old. He's a young centre-back. Hopefully we can get him up nicely if I do get him in. Let's move on to this now, and yeah, we've got the game against Huddersfield. Now, judging by the games I have later on, I might want to play this game, I think. Actually, no, I'm going to sim the match, just so I can play the cup game afterwards. I know it's a big game to be simming against Huddersfield. It's a derby match, but it's one that I feel I need to get through. That's what I generally do during the transfer window. So, back in a second, we'll have to sign in on the team that I'll be putting out. Okay, this is the team I've gone with. It's generally the same, to be honest. I've got Belushi in there and Buckley, but other than that, it's roughly the same as usual. Also, Dwight Gale starts in front of NG. On the bench, I've had to put Spence on there because we have no other centre-backs to put on. Basically, for those of you who don't know, we've got Bamba injured and Cooper injured as well, so our starting centre-backs are both injured at the moment. Obviously, I do have Smith, actually, so Cooper's not really a starter. But, yeah, I do have 2 centre-backs out injured, and I've kind of just got to go with what I've already got in the squad. So, hopefully, I can get in that centre-back and potentially add to the team like that. Let's see how we get on against Huddersfield. They've not been in the best of form during the last 3 games. Dwight Gale scores in the first minute, which is kind of ironic considering Leeds conceded in the first minute last night. So, yeah, we'll take that 1-0. Lynch there, equalising though 26 minutes in. 5 minutes left of this first half, maybe get another. Oh, we did actually. Dele Alli made it 2-1 and Patterson made it 2-2. So, again, we're on level terms and there is about 20 minutes left of this match. Can we get a third to potentially get the win? No, I thought I'd skip it, but it didn't quite work. It did finish 2-2 in the derby match. So, yeah, I think that's an alright result against Huddersfield there, but it's not great. I'd like to win, but whatever, we'll move on from that. And Robbie McDade. Now, in the comments, somebody said that I should keep him because he's doing really well for under-21s at the moment. I know he's probably doing pretty well, but I can't see him being good enough to get in the team, sadly. I know he's 19 years old, potentially some growth in there, but another 3 years, and let's say he goes up 5 overall, 6 maybe. He's not going to be good enough, is he, for a 22-year-old? 66 overall, maybe around the 70 at 22. I'm not particularly happy. So I will accept this Gillingham bid for 200 grand. It is his value. So just try and get some more money and some more wage in as well, which will be helpful. And hopefully we get to see what the inquiries come back with. Okay, so this is the keeper I was looking at, or was suggested, should I say. Ruben Blanco, 2 million they're wanting. Now, I think I can get it for cheaper than that, to be honest. I'm going to go with $1 million as the initial bid. They'll probably reject it, but I'm going to just try my luck at that. Edgar, I'm just going to call it Edgar, actually, I think, yeah. They're not interested in discussing his availability at the time. Okay, he's recently joined, apparently, so I'm going to just put in a bid anyway. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go 400 grand. Hopefully that's going to be enough. The good thing about those two players I put bids in for is the wage is really low, so I can actually adjust the budget a little bit if I feel that the wages are too low to really have it at that sort of level. So let's move on to the player drills and basically just go with the same ones I did last time. Yeah, I think that's going to be right. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's my 5 players. And this is what I've come out with. NG's gone up to 73 overall. Looks really good now, NG. Really happy with how he's growing nicely. Chad Taylor gets closer to that 71 overall. And Dwight Gale also moves closer to 73. Looks pretty good so far, so I'm really happy with that. Also, I forgot to do in the previous episode, which I can't believe, because usually it's the first thing on my mind as we go into a transfer window. I forgot to ask for more funds. One of you guys reminded me in the comments, and I'm going to ask for about 2 million. I think they'll let me have that. 2.5 maybe, if I'm being a little bit cheeky. Go 2.5 and we'll go gain automatic promotion. That's what I'm going to promise, and in the cup we'll reach the quarterfinals. Hopefully that is going to be enough to get us the 2.5 million extra in. I might be being a little bit optimistic here. There's a lot of players that I've scouted at the moment, so I'll be back in a second once I've looked through them, kind of got rid of the ones that I'm not particularly interested in. Okay, so I've looked through some of the centre-backs, and basically there has been a few that have interested me. I'll quickly show you on the short list of players I've got. Basically, I looked at Eric Dyer, probably going to be a bit too expensive for this season. This guy also looks pretty good as well. I'd like to get him in, potentially if we get into the Premier League, I'd like to try and get him in. Looks a very good centre-back, 6'4". Liam Moore's obviously one that I was looking at, but mainly there was, I think it was this guy that was it this guy? Yes, that he's recently joined. 71 overall, 24 years old. Now, he's recently joined in the summer, so I can't actually get him in. And I'm going to put in a bid for, I think, 1.6 million as the initial bid. Hopefully that's going to be enough to try and get him in. Maybe I'll put Belushi as part of the deal if they're not happy with just money. But for now, I think that will be good enough. Also, we are going to inquire about Liam Moore. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Just to kind of see what Leicester want for him. And that Polish keeper that I was after, that club has actually rejected the bid that I put in. It's not enough to get him in. 1.4 million was the initial bid. I mean, that's at the top of the chief executive's comments. So I think we're going to have to just change it a little bit and try and add a player in there if I can. Don't really know who I can add in, to be honest. There's not a lot of players I'm wanting to get rid of that would be actually interested in going. We are really stuck. Belushi's the only player I'm really trying to push out the door, isn't he, to be honest? I think we'll just up it to 1.5 million. If they don't go with that, then we'll just push for Ruben, try and get him in. Okay, the Leeds board have come back and said they'll give me 1.89999 million. So I'll obviously accept that. And that's a fair amount, I suppose. I expected around about 2 million. I thought I'd push for 2.5. But we've got a little bit more money into the club now. And we are going to, I think, go for Liam Moore. I think we'll make him move for him. I think he's around about 70 overall. Not 100% sure. But he could be a good squad player anyway. He can play right back, I think it just said, as well. 6'1". Looks decent. Whether he's going to be someone that will be in our team next year, I'm not 100% sure yet. So it might just be someone that's kind of a short-term centre-back that I try and get in. We are going to go for 900 grand. I'm pretty sure they'll let us have him for that. Although he's on 15 grand a week. I just noticed that as I put in the bid. Maybe that's a little bit too steep for my liking. Okay, I've taken a bit of a look around. I won't put in any more bids currently. We'll wait a little while and hopefully try and get somebody in a little bit later. Transfer offer in for Belushi now, so that's 900 grand. I think that's to send him back to Italy, I think. I'm pretty sure it's an Italian team. Anyway, I might be wrong. We will counter offer and try and get in 1.2 million for him, which I think's about right, really, for Belushi. And Ruben Blanco will not be joining us currently because they've accepted another offer for him. What was the bid that I put in? 1 million. Okay, so they've accepted a bid, and I believe it was 1.4 million that they've accepted. So I'm just going to match that, and hopefully going to try and lure him to Leeds rather than to the club that also wants him. So I'm really optimistic about that one. Hopefully try and get him in. Look at this. We've managed to hopefully get in this player as well for 400 grand. What a bargain that is for me. I think that's very good. He's very fast, I'm pretty sure, this centre-back. So, get him on a 5-year deal. We'll also have him as a squad rotational player. I think that's fair enough, considering he's currently on a future first-team player at Villarreal. So, I'm happy to do that. Hopefully try and get him in before the Sheffield United game. And Robbie McDade has been sold to Gillingham. We've got 170 grand added on to the budget. And look at this. We've been informed that Celta Vigo have accepted a bid for 1.4 million from UD Las Palmas for Ruben Blanco, basically. So yeah, it's another £1.4 million bid, so I need to hopefully just try and beat them to the signing, and preferably before this FA Cup match. Okay, so I've got a scout report back on this Polish keeper. I've taken a look at him, realised that he's only 67 overall, so we won't pursue him. Also got a scout report back on Brian Murphy. Not too sure what he is, 66. That's the same as Ross Turnbull, so there's no point me getting in that sort of player. And again, this time the Polish team have actually come back and said again, he's not enough to try and lure him to Leeds United. I'm actually going to leave that one because I'm hopefully going to try and get in Ruben Blanco, so I won't need to do the 25 grand wage for that guy either. So we'll move on to a different target. And look at this, it has been accepted, the 1.4 million I think it was, for Sebastian Duest I'll go with. He's a 24-year-old centre-back. It looks pretty good, I think. He wants 20 grand a week. I can't really afford to give him that. I'll give him 16 just to up it slightly. And yeah, we'll go with important first-team player because he'll probably be challenging Cooper really to get into the starting 11. And Liam Moore, they want 925 grand. I'm not going to go ahead with that. He's wanting too much wage. I can't be bothered giving him that sort of amount when he's below 70 overall, I'm pretty sure. No way! No way! Celta Vigo again want 2 million. He's gone, but he's gone now, Ruben Blanco. Oh, that's annoying. He's gone, I believe he has gone to a different club. That's great, isn't it? Anyway, we've managed to get in Edgar. That's a decent signing for 400 grand. I'm pretty sure he's a decent centre-back as well. We've also got a counter-offer back from Sebastian. He wants 20 grand a week. Don't really want to give him that sort of amount. I might be forced to go towards that sort of amount now. I'll go 18,500 even, thousand a week. So I think that's going to be enough. We'll go 20% clean sheet bonus. We'll go important first team player again. Hopefully that's going to be enough to try and get him in. Look at this. They've come back and said they'll pay 1 million for Belushi, but they don't have to pay much more. So I will go with the 1 million just to try and get some more money in order to sign some of those other players. Now we need to seriously look for a new keeper. It's getting a little bit worrying now. We've lost out on many of our targets, so we need to try and get another keeper. So I'll be back in a second. So I've found one that matches my criteria. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to try putting in a bid for Jack Butland. Try and bring him back to Ellen Road. We're going to go 3.6 million. It's a lot of money. And I just want to try and get him in. I'm not going to lie. I want to get him into the team. Ideally, I want to get him in next season. But if I can get him in now, that'd be even better, really, wouldn't it? So if they don't want the 3.6 million, I'll put in a player as well as like 3 million or something like that. So hopefully I can get him in, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to look at another keeper before I continue simming some more matches. Okay, now this is one that I'm going to try and get in. Shay Given. Now he was rumoured to be potentially moving to Leeds in the emergency loan window, I think it is, or something like that. I'm tempted to go with a loan bid to begin with and maybe just get him for the season. Or like a short-term loan. In fact, no, I'll just go 1 year loan, actually. Try and get him in. See what Stoke say to that. I'm not really too sure, to be honest, what they will say to that. I'm after both the keepers, I've just realised. But yeah, we are going to go with that. It's an interesting one. I don't know whether they will go ahead with it. We're also going to make a move for Matt Schwarzer as well. You're probably thinking, why am I going for loads of old keepers? Well, I've kind of decided... Oh, I can't even get him. Kind of decided that I'm not going to have much luck getting in a young keeper unless I can get in Jack Butland. Because I can't really think of any more young goalkeepers that are good enough for the team. So I've decided to get a keeper that's a good overall, but ageing. So that's what I'm going to hopefully try and do. So back in a second once I've found one that really suits what I'm after. Okay, I think I might have found one that suits what I'm after. Okay, Wayne Hennessy. Now then, this might be a really interesting one for us to get in. 25 grand a week though. He's on quite a bit. I am going to just go ahead with a £2 million bid. He's got 1 year, 6 months left. He's 29 years old. I think it might be a good one for us if I can potentially try and get him in. Whether I want to step down leagues, not 100% sure. We'll find out, I'm sure, in a few minutes. Anybody else I'm liking the look of? I don't really think so. Myhill, actually. Myhill might be an interesting one. He's 33. I'd have to pay probably 1.2 million in order to get him in, but he's only on 9 grand a week, so Myhill might be an interesting one. Again, I know they're not young players, but to be honest, I'll probably sell them next season. It's only for like a short-term basis I need to get somebody in, because Silvestri really wasn't cutting it for me. Romero would be nice. 70 grand a week, though. Let's see. Anybody else? Kasper Schmeichel will be brilliant, actually, for us, bringing back to Ellen Road. But I think that is going to be everyone that I'm interested in for now. So we'll move on to this game against Sheffield United, I think it was. But we'll see whether we can try and beat them. We are going to sim the match again, so back in a second once I've changed around the team. So this is the team I've gone with. Just to clarify, that's Chris Wood up top and Murphy in centre mid. I've changed them around. Dwight Gale now on the bench and Ali, I think, also on the bench. Byram's now at right back as well, so changed it around slightly. Let's sim the match, hopefully beat Sheffield Wednesday and get into the next round of the FA Cup. Come on, surely our team's good enough. NG scores after 3 minutes. We're getting a lot of early goals recently. We're also conceding a lot as well. Walford there with an equalising goal. It's now 1-1. Lewis Cook getting booked. 28 minutes in, and now 5 minutes left of this first half. Still 1-1 going into the second half. Dallas makes it 2-1 though, 51 minutes in. 30 minutes left, and hopefully we can hold on to the lead and get through into the next round. Ali on, Bataka off. It's a bit of a strange one for me. Wood makes it 3-1. Baxter gets injured, and we've won the game 3-1. Brilliant result for our players. Napoli confirm Aguero talks. Where the hell's that come from? Napoli getting Aguero. Oh, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Let's have a little look how much. He's worth 34 apparently, but he's injured. No point having an injured Aguero, is there? Okay, scout report back on another centre-back I was looking at. He's probably going to be too expensive, but I'll add him to my shortlist because he looks decent, so maybe someone I get next season. Bataka, we've got a bid in from Nottingham Forest. We'll tell them to get lost with that one. They're not having our player. Bataka, he's doing pretty well, I think, for me, Bataka at the moment. Sebastian's declined the offer because he loves living here, but he doesn't want to relocate. Oh, wait. Ideally, he doesn't want to relocate. He could be persuaded, though, so he's after more money, basically. I don't want to give him 20 grand. Bamba's on 25, so I mean, if I give him 20, I'm saying he's nearly as good as Bamba. I mean, no one's as good as Bamba, obviously. But yeah, I'm not really too sure about that. Final bid. No, I'm actually not going to go ahead with that, thinking about it. We'll leave it for now. I might go back to it. Player sold, and it's Belushi. He's finally gone. We've got 850,000. Look at this. No way, Stoke City have accepted 3.6 million. Never expected that at all, to be honest. We'll go 5-year deal, get him in. Crucial first team player, all the perks, give him everything. Can we get Jack Butland in on the first season?